Yay, it happened for the first time. I'm so excited.
It worked.
Yay. How are you doing today?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. Let's give us a couple of minutes so the people can connect with us.
Okay.
Yay, we'll say hi. And I have those beautiful waves, what I was going to show, but somehow slides do not work. So you will have to show us your studio yourself, okay?
That sounds good.
I'm Dasha Jamison with Red Rock Pastel Society of Nevada. We kind of started this series of live interviews to promote our online exhibition, and it just took off. So we decided, like, why not to continue it, like, while we're all at home, and we can meet more amazing artists. And thank you for saying yes to us. So it's Jeanne Smith with her beautiful waves today.
That is such a wonderful idea. I'm so glad you're doing this. And you've broadcast your past interviews? I know you sent me a couple of them. Is there a way to view the ones that you've already done somewhere else?
Yes, so we have them saved on Instagram TV, and also as soon as we're ready, we add them to YouTube, because a lot of our members are not on Instagram, so we want for them to make sure what they can still see that just by going to the link and watch it on YouTube.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having me. This is really fun. I've never done this before, so it's new to me.
So are you doing your live videos just yourself? Like, do you, no?
I'm so uneasy in front of the camera that I've kind of avoided it. So this is good for me. I did one video. You already asked me to do one. I've sent it to them. They haven't sent it out yet. This is my second time setting up a camera in my studio doing this myself. I recorded a few DVDs a couple of years ago, but that's the only time I've done this before.
Well, you're natural, so you don't need to practice.
You're very kind.
That's not the word what people who know me would use to describe me, but anyway, like, thank you so much. You have something exciting happening right now. Can you tell about your show Waves?
Yes, so I have an opening going on right now. I was thinking about it this morning that I guess one advantage to the current situation is that you can be in several places at one time. I can be doing this interview, and I'm also having a solo show opening in New Orleans virtually. That's where I was planning to be today. We planned this started about a year ago, planning a solo show on water and waves at the Degas Gallery in New Orleans. And we weren't sure even a month ago how we were going to put on the exhibition. And we originally had a big body of work with a lot of, I had a lot of large paintings going into the show. And so it evolved once the situation changed. I had rented a car. We had planned on driving all these paintings down. We were renting a big van to take everything down to New Orleans. And so it has evolved, and now we're doing an online show. And so everything is now up today online. Today's the opening of the show, and it's viewable online at thedegasgallery.com.
How did you come up with this idea on painting waves?
So, it's funny. I fell in love with painting waves about 10 years ago, and you would think I might be tired of doing it by now, but I can't get enough of it. I fell in love. The way it started really was I've been teaching pastels for about 17 years, and what I was doing for a long time was teaching weekly classes, and every month we basically changed topics just to keep things fresh, to keep ourselves challenged. And so one month we happened to be painting water, and one particular week I decided to make the topic focus waves. And I myself had never actually tried painting waves, and so I did 3 demonstrations. I practiced a little in advance, and then I had a morning, afternoon, and evening classes on Tuesdays. And so I did 3 demos, 3 little 8x8 paintings. And I happened, and they ended up, all 3 of them they ended up being pretty successful little paintings, and they were little 8x8s. And so they were a lot of fun to do. And then as it happened, I had just started with a new gallery on Nantucket. And so I liked the paintings enough that I stuck them in frames, and I was bringing my first delivery of paintings to Nantucket, and I put those 3 paintings in there. And as we were unwrapping all the paintings at the gallery, some woman came in and bought 2 of those paintings on the floor right as we were unwrapping them. And so that definitely helped. but also, so I've always loved the beach. That was where we always went on vacation. We always lived close enough that we could drive to the beach. And it just, for me, that's my place of relaxation. Everything just kind of calms me immediately as soon as I get to the water. So, and whatever it is that I'm painting is always a meditation on that thing. It transports me to the place. So being at the beach while I'm painting, whether it's a blizzard or doesn't matter, I'm at the beach when I'm painting waves. So it's just been a source of joy to paint them ever since I started. And I feel like there's always so much more to learn when you're painting water. I mean, that's true of everything, but Absolutely. It's constantly changing, and there's just so many new ways of expressing the movement of water that I don't think I can ever stop learning new things about it. So it's been a great source of inspiration for me.
This is amazing. Thank you for such a full answer. And I know we have a couple of surprises for our viewers today. First, you have these beautiful paintings that are behind you. Can you, like, is that the one what you can make few marks on, or this one looks just amazing?
So, okay, so yeah, I started this. I did a little teaser last night. I did the thumbnail for it. So yeah, here's the thumbnail. And here, which I can bring that a little bit closer so you can see the thumbnail. And the reference, I will just tell you that I have actually used this reference 3 or 4 times. You could look through all my paintings and probably not see where I got it from, because this is way zoomed in. The newest series that I've been working on is I've been zooming in and going really close to feel like you're really in the wave. And so this is just a tiny little square of a big, huge wave that's far away. So it's kind of pixelated, doesn't have as much information, but I'm loving the abstracted shape and feel of zooming way in. So
may I jump in and ask questions? So you say you use reference photo because yes. Ocean is constantly moving, a wave is not static, so you do use it as a point of reference, but it doesn't need to be exact. You elaborate on that. So what do you use to take your reference photo? Do you use camera or phone?
So I've tried using my phone, and so the iPhone is useful to a point, but I've found that for pictures like this, often you can get some good larger scenes with an iPhone. So sometimes the iPhone is good enough. For really, really good wave photos, I have found I've started to go back to I have a Canon Rebel. I can't remember which version it is, but it's an SLR, digital SLR camera. Okay. And for waves, for anything with high action, fast motion, it's really helpful to have a digital SLR because you get much better motion shots. So I use that. I bring
for
that
motion shots, definitely a way to go with a camera. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah. So I've got my zoomed in shot. I do this just for a value sketching to make sure I've got what I like. So this morning I did the underpainting, and I just pretty much, I'm not going to do much more to the top here. I haven't done, this is mostly all underpainting. I actually did add a little bit. You can see I got green on my hands. I started to layer a little bit to smooth out what's going on.
And in this. Is it on UArt? Because we want to.
Yes. So UArt is my favorite. I love all different kinds of paper. I use them for different things. I use Pastel Matte for clouds because it's nice and soft and smooth. UArt is my go-to paper. I use it for most paintings.
What grid do you go with? Because they have such a wide range of grids.
Yeah, they do. And I use both the 320 and the 400. And I kind of go back and forth. Sometimes I like the 320, sometimes I like the 400. And I haven't really decided which one I prefer. I have a hard time I like variety.
Exactly, why to stick to one thing. And also, you mentioned underpainting. So, like, what underpainting was it? Can you please repeat?
So, what underpainting?
Yeah, you say you started with underpainting. So, what
Yes.
underpainting do you utilize?
Okay, so I use for the underpainting. I like my Richardson. I have a full set of the Richardson hard pastel sticks. I like those a lot, and I use so I use pastel underpainting always, and I don't do watercolor. I don't, just because for me it's simpler to just stick with one medium. If I have too much stuff going on, I get confused. It's just easier to I stick to basics, and I use alcohol, 70% alcohol.
So you've been prepared too. Like, it's so useful to have it in your studio right now.
I know, and actually, oh my gosh, I thought I had only one. So I have this very large bottle of alcohol, and I thought it was my last one, and I've really been kind of like just using as little as possible because, of course, you can't find it anymore. And then I was down in my basement cleaning out because that's where my workshop is, where I teach workshops and stuff. I found another whole big thing of it down there 2 days ago when I was cleaning, and I was so excited.
Lucky you.
But I did, the other day I tried just using water just to see how it would work, because I've used water before, and it was fine. You just have to wait a little longer for it to dry. It doesn't.
Evaporation speed.
Yeah. So it's not really that. It's fine. I'll survive. It's not the worst thing in the world. So I've got my underpainting with the water. Sorry, with the alcohol. I will say about my underpainting, it's it's become the thing that has changed the most in my work over the last 3 years or something. I spend a lot of time on the underpainting. I really make it. This is almost only underpainting. I've done almost nothing to it. It's basically just the underpainting. I've put a tiny little bit of pastel up here. What I was going to do today is I'm going to do a little bit of drawing because my next step is the redraw, but there's really almost nothing on here but underpainting at this point. So the underpainting is so important to me. It's all local color, and I build up thin layers on top. But if the underpainting for my seascape is done well, most of my work is done. There's not all that much that needs to go on top of it.
So it's like that good a setup for you. So you're setting yourself up, and you have your reference, you have your value sketch, and you're refining drawing from there, right?
Yes. So I use the drawing both to refine. So my underpainting is really just, it's all the colors and the values, but I don't put any of the whites, all of it, like with the foam in this does not go in the underpainting. I just look at the colors that are underneath the foam and put those in the underpainting. None of the foam goes, so down here, this is all greens. All of the colors that's underneath the foam go in the underpainting. So what I'm going to do now is put the draw in where the foam is going to go down here. The foam design goes in on top of that underpainting, because you got these really light colors sitting on top of dark water, and if those were just going to be put in pastel, it would get muddy really quickly. But I can put these nice clear lights on top of a dark underpainting, and it sits nicely. Just make sure that the lighting's right.
People think you can use vodka for underpainting.
I've done that. We were painting in Italy on the beach one time, and we could not find any rubbing alcohol in Italy, so we had to use vodka. But it came in handy when we were done painting, like.
Yeah, 70% alcohol would be a little bit rough on your stomach.
Oh, yeah.
I'm from Russia, so I do know things. And there earlier been comments, people from Argentina and Uruguay were watching us and saying hi. So you have a lot of fans from all over the place. Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh my gosh. All right. This is the great thing about the internet, being able to connect people from everywhere.
And guys, in case you're wondering, when we're gonna process this video, you wouldn't be see comments. Like you will be seeing more of Jeanne and her work. So no worry about that. Thank you for saying hi, and there is hello from Sweden too. So which pastel, like I know it's a rookie question, but we want to know which pastel stick do you use right now?
Okay, so right now I'm just using a hard white square pastel. So this happens to be a new pastel, a white new pastel. So either that's because I showed you my Richardson Hard set, but yeah. I ran through the whites because I use the whites all the time. So I ran over to the local art store in Concord, Massachusetts, and picked up this like 4 sticks of the white new pastel.
Because it's wonderful. It has hard edges, so it does a job.
Exactly, they're great for this. I love to redraw with this. That plus, I often for a smaller painting, I'll use these General's charcoal pencils.
Oh, they're wonderful too. Yeah,
they're fantastic. Yeah, I use them for also for doing my thumbnail sketches. So I think I've got the drawing. The only thing I don't like is this one little line right there. So I already did I did the same thing up here already.
And here is hello from American in United Kingdom. Hi guys.
Wow.
And just quick reminder, Dasha Jamison with Red Rock Pastel Society of Nevada and Jeanne Smith with her beautiful vase, and today is her show premiere at the Gas Gallery. She has a link on her Instagram stories, and we're gonna put link in our bio so you guys can visit art opening today. How about that for today's plan?
And I would just say, while you do, you need to, since it is in New Orleans, you should also play some jazz music and have a drink while you're looking through the work.
Can we have some like charbroiled oysters from Draga?
Exactly. Yes. Okay, so this gives me kind of the plan. I want these diagonal lines going this way and through here. Now, once I've got that, my next step will be what I really love, and I don't know if you probably can't see this in here. What you can see is that this is all one value, right? It's basically, all you can see is a blue square here. But what I can see when I'm looking at it is you've got this a little bit of translucency. It's a little bit lighter green up in here. It's a little bit darker, but then there's these overlays, these kind of subtle overlays of greens with blues on top. So I'm going to keep the values really close in here, and I need to find a blue in my soft pastels that is just about...
So you're going hard to soft, yes, and dark to light.
Yes. So what happens when you have a wave, and I won't keep going here, but when you have, this is a close-up on a wave, but the water down here is denser. Even though we're zoomed in, I know the structure of the water here. You've got deep, dense, thick water at the base, and then as you move up, it's thinner, and there's more light passing through it. So the more light you have passing through, the more translucent it's going to be. Also, it goes from cooler water to, as the light passes through, it gets a little bit warmer, so the color shifts to warmer and lighter. That's where how you get the translucency.
So you spend a lot of time on the beaches.
Yeah, and swimming. I like to swim, so I like to dive through the waves. If you go to my highlights in my Instagram, there is one section where you'll actually see me body surfing and getting wiped out by some other waves. So that's kind of funny too. So.
Yeah, and like when you say a painting for you is meditation process, so do you recall these memories while you're painting? Like, do you transfer this in, like, how this water would feel and stuff too?
I suppose I do. I don't think about it quite that specifically. I just, I think when I'm looking at waves, I'm very aware of how the water's moving. So I can picture the waves moving.
Yeah, no, I guess you can sense that because they're captivating.
Yeah, yeah. I think that the other thing that's interesting in terms of memory and painting is while I paint, I listen to books. I'm listening to, I usually don't listen to music, I listen to stories. And so what's interesting is that when years later, even when I go back and I look at a particular painting, I can remember the book that I was listening to while I painted that painting. I don't know if that's true of anyone else. I'd be really interested to know for other people who listen to books on tape or not tape, whatever.
Yeah, I heard a lot of artists do listen books and talk radio too, because it kind of keeps your mind busy, and you do not overthink what you're doing because you do know how to paint. So
that's right.
Comparing and grabbing values and
yes.
So it's becomes more natural without overthinking it. So
I think that's exactly it. What happens, I find that if I don't have something to occupy that thinking part of my brain, I get distracted and I start thinking, oh, I've got to do this. Oh, what about that? Oh, I should call so-and-so, whatever. My mind will start to take off in other directions. So I have to keep it occupied with something, because otherwise I will think too much. And because I really just need to be able to just get into the flow of the painting while my brain is busy with something else.
Thank you. And there is hello from Poland and again Argentina.
Oh my gosh.
Yes, let's move on to those soft pastels. I interrupted you so rudely.
Sure. So I want to make sure I've got some color flowing up through here. This is one of the pastels I made the other day. It's a little bit too warm when I put it on there. I never worry too much if I put a color on and it's not working, as long as it's the right value. That one's a little too warm too. Let's go to, if it's the right value, I'm just gonna be able to blend it in. Blend it over. It's just gonna add.
You are awesome, people saying you awesome.
I need to have you come do this every day, you know?
Okay, I will have to paint next time too, okay? So.
Okay, so I'm trying to keep this really light. Up here where I want it to be softer, I'm actually taking my fingers and very lightly glazing. So I don't like to do that too much, but...
Yeah, 320 and 400, it's kind of rough, so if you do it too hard, you can take your fingerprints off.
Yes, you can.
Bravo!
So this is the light blue I'm glazing over. That gives it a feeling of light. This is a 320 that I'm using right now. So I'm going to put a little bit of this nice light green up in here. I like the translucency of that light green against the blue. It's really nice. Get those up in here.
And you're following those movements of the wave, so like you don't, you change the direction of the stick constantly. Yes, is what I see.
Yes, I do, and I'm using the sides. I very rarely hold it like this. I almost always hold it on the side and use the sides.
So I just gonna read some comments. Very interesting. Jeanne, I don't know, did I pronounce it correct? Jennifer is thankful for warm and cool explanation, and there is a lot of hearts and thumbs up.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you. It's nice, you know, if we do, I think given this whole situation with the pandemic, I think in some ways we're lucky as artists because we're used to this. I work in my studio here. I didn't have to change my situation at all. This is kind of my daily routine, although I had a lot of things canceled. But it's really nice to be able to invite people into my studio to see what I'm doing. You know, that
thank you for people who are just joining us. Hi, Katya. Hi. It's hard to read Instagram handles here, so if I mispronounce your name, don't mind. I'm Dasha Jameson with Red Rock Pastel Society of Nevada. We're visiting studio of Jeanne Smith. She's doing live demo of one of your amazing waves, Close Up, your new series. Also, we're inviting you to art opening with just music and drinks because it's in New Orleans, and link gonna be in bio. And at the end, like when we will have, I think, like 5-7 minutes left, we're gonna take a look on your studio because you have some goodies there. We want to see your pastels.
And I have to thank you for asking for a studio tour, because that meant I cleaned up my studio this morning a little bit.
You're always welcome. I mean, we've been cleaning studios all over the world for the past month.
So I see it's I don't know if you probably can't tell, it's a little bit lighter in here, but I squint to see the values correctly, because if you look too closely, you'll start to exaggerate, you know, the values. Anytime you start to stare too much, if I look too much in one area, I notice the little differences, and then I end up exaggerating them too much. So I have to be careful to squint so I don't over exaggerate differences.
Squinting was also a common theme. Tonya Lane recently encouraged all of us to squint, so let's guys practice again.
Yeah, you can never squint too much. It's true. I don't think it's so good for the wrinkles, but otherwise it's a really good idea.
Thank you guys for watching. I see comments awesome from John around the same breathtaking. Thank you guys for watching.
So one thing that's fun about painting waves is that if you're relatively new to pastel and you're unsure about colors, all of these colors are so analogous, you really can't go wrong. It's really kind of a great way to start, because the colors all just naturally really work well together. So I want that feeling of translucency and flow in here, and I haven't started to add there's foam that's, so right now I'm just getting that kind of the water that's flowing behind the foam, and then there's this overlay of foam that's moving around on top, and we haven't put that down yet. I'm just getting the background water first, and then we're going to put that foam in on top. This.
Kim Baker saying she has your waves video and it's wonderful.
Oh, that's so nice. Thank you. So, you know, even though I haven't put a lot of dark pastel down here, I don't think I really need to. It's pretty dark, and I'm going to end up putting foam on top, so I don't think I really want to do much down there. I'm sorry, down there. Just a little bit more light up here. All right, I think I will sketch in a little bit of where this foam here is going to go. It's hard for you to see it, but I'm going to use another new pastel to sketch that in, but instead of using a white one, which wouldn't make any sense in the shadows, I'm going to use this light blue. It's not, I call it a new pastel because that's what I used for years, but it's a Richardson.
There is greetings from Mexico, and Sven from Spain asking, do you have tutorials what students can learn from?
Do I? So there's my DVDs. I have a set of 3 Seascape DVDs, which are available on my website. If you go to my website store, and if you're in Mexico, you can also get them on they're downloadable from Artist Network TV.
Okay, so Artist Network TV DVDs available, or video downloadable. I guess you can. I know some of our members download them on their iPads, and it works really well.
Yeah.
So color is this canvas?
What color is the canvas?
No, what's the size?
Oh, how big is it? What size?
Yeah, how big?
This is 24 inches by 24 inches.
Okay, it's the same size like the one what we use, 24 by 24. And do you find square is harder to compose, or it's the same?
I have always loved doing squares, and I don't think it depends on. For some reason, I seem to like either doing squares or doing double wide, like a panoramic 24 by 48 or whatever, 8 by 16. I like 8 by 8s, 8 by 16s. So for some reason, I think because it feels contemporary, I like those formats. But then I think that it can be more challenging to compose a square, yes, because there isn't one dominant side. But I like that challenge. I think it's fun to make those work. And I like the feel of that contemporary square. And they're very appealing, and they tend to be very popular. So that makes it fun to do too.
Thank you.
All right, so once I get the general design here, the other fun thing about doing waves is nobody's going to be standing there. I started with portraits, and that's kind of a nice place to start because it's really the hardest thing, and then everything else seems like a relief in comparison, because no one's going to stand there and say, well, that wave didn't really look like that. It's just they're kind of freeing if you can take a lot of poetic license with them. So I'm just getting the feeling of the movement here. It doesn't have to look exactly like whatever photo reference. And not that anything ever has to look like a photo reference, don't get me wrong. Okay, so I've got some general movement that I'm looking for in the foam. Now I picked up this blue, which looks like a nice foam blue, but it's way too light. If I put it on there, it looks like white. So I need to go with a nice purpley blue that's going to read like foam in the shadow. Yeah, that's better. So I'm just going to be scribbling that over. And is that showing up? Can you see it? Yeah, you can see
yes.
it. So this is going basically right over the underpainting here. Look how much lighter it looks against the really dark areas. That always is just fascinating to me, that simultaneous contrast between as one color changes depending on where you put it in your painting. Pulls everything together while creating variety.
Do you fix the painting during your process? We have a question.
What's the question?
Do you fix the painting during your process?
No, I don't. I don't ever fix it during the process because I end up doing a lot of brushing off. Once I do this particular step, I will take a dry brush and lift areas out. I don't build up so much pastel that I feel the need to fix, but I do fix at the end.
You do, and you didn't notice darkening or?
No, the fixative that I use is fixative Lascaux, and the way I put it on is very, very thin. I put on 3 really light, thin layers, and I spray it with pastel. I hold the pastel painting vertically and keep the spray about 2 feet away, and I have never had problems with it darkening the pastel. It really doesn't change it. I've been doing it for about 3 or 4 years, and it really makes a tremendous difference in the stability of the painting, because I'm shipping them now to various places around the country for different galleries. So I recommend that one a lot. It seems to work really well. It's been really, really helpful for me.
If you don't mind, when we're done today, would you put this name of this into your stories? Like, will you take a picture of a brand of this fixative and put it on your stories? Because I know there would be a lot of questions about it.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I've got some of this built up. I'm going to make it a little bit thicker in some areas. I don't know how much longer we have, so I don't know how long you want to.
Pastel Giro is watching us.
Pastel Giro is watching. Oh, I love them. Do you know my first set of pastels the first full set that I ever bought was a set of Pastel Giro. When I had my first show in 2006, I sold a bunch of paintings, and I spent all of my earnings on a full set of Giro pastels.
Lucky you.
Yeah, it was great. I love them. And since then, I've had to restock a whole bunch of them.
Hi, y'all.
So I've switched colors. This one's a little bit more bluish. Now that's too dark up there. I'm going to have to change that. So just so I can show you a little bit of something else that I do, I'm going to grab a brush. Let's see. This one will work. So this is one reason
kind of a smaller brush, yes?
Yeah,
Can you show it close to us, please?
Just a little brush. So I go into the areas where I've got the foam, and I lift out, just create some little holes in the foam. Because the foam is very rarely fully solid, I'm just going in and just to make it more realistic, I'm just creating edges, softening edges. I use the fan brush a lot too. Should have grabbed my brushes before I started here, sorry.
No worries, we enjoying looking at you and at your work, so that's interesting. So
the fan brush I use all the time. It's great just for creating really soft edges, lifting things off.
And there have been questions before, how do you hold your pastel stick? But if you guys gonna watch replay, you can see the answer with questions. So no pointy, just a flat side. Thank you for asking again.
This fan brush is a really important tool. So I think I'll just put a little bit of put some whites in now so we can see the difference between the whites and the other blues. Oh, wait, let me just add a little bit of blue down here. And that wasn't the one I was using there. Okay, so let's put some of we've got the highest, the brightest shadow, or sorry, the brightest highlights down in this area. This white might be a little too bright. I'm gonna go with something a little bit duller. Let's find a bluish white. I start out with the more bluish whites. These are Terry Ludwig whites, which I love because they're nice and juicy and buttery, and they've got a really great soft, flat edge.
If I'm not wrong, you have a set with Terry Ludwig's of your select colors.
Yes, so I have two sets now. One of them is the Seascape set, and which has a lot of these colors, and then the other one is a Summer Beaches set, which is kind of a nice supplemental set with more sand and beach and wave colors in it. So they're good. They're a good set together, I think. Because you can never have too many, right?
Right.
You will see in a moment when I do my tour that I'm a little addicted to these things.
Like Corey Pitkin said, it's an addiction.
It really is. Yeah, I was the other day, I guess it was when this whole thing first started, I was, of course, like everyone else, looking on the internet at all of the ads for pastel sets, and I was thinking, I seriously should not be buying any more pastels. This is really embarrassing. I just can't justify. So what I did instead was I went through and cleaned out my pastels and made new pastels out of all my little sticks, which I have several posts on how to do that. And I created new sticks. I even did a painting with my new, you can look on my Instagram feed for
Yeah. I was watching on Instagram stories, and I was very thankful what you posted later on your feed. So it's there and you can look over it.
Yeah. So I did this. So I have a bunch of new ones, but then I thought, now does that mean I can buy new pastels? It really
exactly.
Is.
It's exactly what it means. Yeah. Yes.
Thank you.
Welcome. I'm here all week. So if you go now and buy some pastel set, like what do you have your eye on?
Well,
what is good on sale right now?
I just got an ad the other day from Dakota Art Pastels that Diane Townsend is on sale. And so if I were on a desert island and I had to just choose what I could bring, and I could only bring 3 kinds of pastels with me, my favorites are the Jerome and the Terry Ludwig. I love, love, love Terry Ludwig. And Diane Townsend. Those 3 I can't live without. Those are my favorites. And I love them all for different.
I'm very close on those. But when you try new stick and you're like, but I like Mount Visions too, and
I know.
new pastels are nice.
I know.
And Great American, and like it's just so hard. But
right.
And I just look at this sale too, and our members do have some specials on 2 of those. So we have 10% off on Dakota, and I think something sweet on Pastel Rose, but not on everything. So
you know what else is really good? That is the Richardson soft ones, the Richardson soft hand roll pastels. Those are really nice, and they're very reasonable. So especially if you don't have a lot of pastels, they're really worth looking at. They're really good. They're really, really nice. So they're worth checking out as well.
Pastel Rose saying thank you. Jennifer from United Kingdom asking, have you ever tried unisons?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I really like unisons too. I mean, like you were saying, I do. Of course, I've tried unisons. I have a lot of unisons too. Yeah, I do. I love those too. I haven't really ever met a pastel that I didn't like.
Yeah, that's hard.
I know. Actually, those Mount Visions that you mentioned, they have a set of blues that I've ordered. I've now gone through 2 sets, and I was thinking about getting them again, just because they're such a good deal. You know, like they have these gigantic pastels, and when I do these gigantic paintings of waves, I just eat up the pastel.
Yeah, exactly. And especially with a gritty surface like UArt.
Right.
My first time I discovered UArt 320 after working on Canson mittens for a long time. And I also discovered at the same time Beautiful Lashes Great American. And I was working whole areas with those soft pastels. And I lost a couple of fingertips because nobody told me not to blend very hard.
Yeah,
and I used like full stick of pasta. I'm like, that hobby getting too expensive.
I know.
But now I know a little bit better. But
do you ever have
hard? Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you ever have that problem? You know, on your phone, the iPhone, where you touch with your fingertip to get the fingerprint? I'm telling you, mine only lasts for a couple days, and then I have to reset it. Like my finger. I don't know whether it's the pastel dust on my fingertips or that just fills up. I mean, I wash my hands all the time, but it can't read my fingertips anymore after a couple days. I feel like I'm wearing down my fingerprints or something.
I hope FBI is not watching us right now, because there will be a lot of suspicious subjects in pastel painters. Like, we might be onto something right now.
Yeah, that's true. I'm not doing it for for nefarious purposes.
It's just true, because like if you rub your fingertips on a gritty surface and also like you have pastel on it too. No, it can be combination. Sometimes my phone cannot read my face. I set up Face ID and it cannot recognize me. So I don't know.
Well, these days, I know you go out, you got your mask on, you know, your sunglasses, forget it.
Yeah, you're not going to unlock your phone.
No. Okay.
Oh, we were having so much fun, so we have 12 minutes left.
Okay.
Show us the best thing at the easel, and let's look at your studio at those wonderful candies.
All right. So we'll stop. My studio is going to take 12 minutes, but it's not very big. But yeah. So would you like a little studio tour?
Yes, please. We have Karine saying bye from Giro. I hope it's Karine, and she have to go, and she was very happy to see both of us. Thank you, Karine, for watching. And we have Lana Ballot, who helped us to start this wonderful series of interviews, to watching us too. Yes, we do want to see your studio, and if we'll have time left, we will get back to the painting.
Sounds
okay?
Good.
And do you step away from the painting during the process?
Oh, yeah. So I do. And I'm sitting right now just because I thought it would be easier that way. So I normally do a combination of both sitting and standing because I paint all day most of the time. I mean, I paint all the time. And so I will, my stool goes up and down, and depending on how big the painting is, I do both. I probably stand half the time and sit half the time. And I'll show you, I have a mirror, and so I can see it from behind, and I go in and out and back and forth. I'm up and down all the time. Yeah, because I feel like you need to get away from the work. I also have 2 easels in here, so I like to work on more than one thing at a time. I switch things in and out off of the easel all the time so that I can work on more than one thing at once, because I need to have fresh eyes on things. And so I like to have several things going at once, and except when I'm doing my really large things, then I'm going back. And then when I'm doing something really big, like a 40 by 60 or a 20 by 60, then I have to stand because I'm walking back and forth for it.
Wow.
Yeah. So, okay, so let's do a little tour. I think I can just lift this up. The room is really small. So let's see. I'll take you on. So so this painting, by the way, is the one that I did with just the pastels that I made. Wow. See if I can come closer. That's just, those are the pastels from the pastels that I handmade from my scraps. Okay, so let's see. I'll back up a little bit so you can see the whole studio. Let's see. I'm not really seeing what you're saying, so I'm gonna. So
this is your amazing face to this so beautiful window.
Yeah, So this is the window over the front door. When we bought the house, and I saw that this was this little room, I thought, okay, that's my studio. This is the house we're getting. This is where we're gonna. This is where we're gonna live. Okay, so this is. Let me see if I can. I'm trying to look in here so I can see what you're seeing. This is my pastels.
We start seeing your pastels. We want a close-up shot on those. Can you show us? So they arranged by color family.
They're all arranged by color. Let's see if we're trying to. They're all arranged by color and by value. Bring you over here.
What boxes do you use?
These are IKEA dinner trays.
Ooh, life hack too.
Let's see if I can get a shot of all of them. There we go. There. and I'll pull you back.
So beautiful.
Get a view of the whole
Kim
thing.
Baker asking, don't think you need more pastels.
See? You see what I'm saying? So, and then
we went over it already. Yes, you do.
So there's the mirror. That's the others. This is basically the whole room. So that's it. This is the whole studio. Here's one of the paintings that's actually in my exhibition right now. The rest of them are in my basement.
And there is a lot of exhibition murals. Rhonda is asking, what type of easels do you use?
What type of what?
Easel.
So my easels are their richest and best easels. I think we can zoom in and you can see them. Sorry. Yeah, richest and best. And then I've got on top of the easel, I've got these lights, and they're I've got one on this one too. I got them at Joanne Fabrics. They're odd lights that clip onto the easels.
Oh,
and
that's cool.
Those are really kind of nice to have because they keep even bright light on the easels. So I got them at Joanne Fabrics. So those are easy to put up.
Oh, this is awesome. That was the quickest studio tour. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will try to read a couple of comments. Christine Dabrowski says hi. And
hi, Christine.
And what board are you using? So I'm not sure what this question about. Is it like, do you mount your papers?
Yeah, I do. So I have recently found a new kind of board to mount to. I've used Gator board, I've used acid-free foam core, and the place that I get my frames from, Omega, has recently started stocking something called Mount Core, which is, it comes with a little self-adhesive. It's acid-free, and so it's archival, and it's called Mount Core, and I have a dry mount press. So I just cut the paper to the same size as this Mount Core board. It's basically like foam core. It's a little bit more rigid than foam core. It's not quite as rigid as Gator board, but it's really easy to use. It also mounts at a lower heat. So I have found that I can actually mount pastel mat to it, which is a really big advantage because I love the pastel mat. And
so it's temperature sensitive,
yeah,
I guess.
It's temperature sensitive. So I've been using my dry mount press, but I can do it at a lower temperature, which is really nice. So yeah, that's what I've been using.
And some new people joining us. Hi, Natalia. Hi, Anna. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Dasha Jamison with Red Rock Pastel Society of Nevada. Today we have Jeanne Smith. She has art opening today at the Gas Gallery in New Orleans. We're inviting you all to visit her gallery tour, and also please pour yourself a drink, put some jazz music, and enjoy the show. And I have a question to read. Yes, we just replied this question, Natalia. In a replay, you can see the answer. So I've been translating previous interviews, so I think I trained my brain pretty well to switch between Russian and English. So I think like I'm getting there, you know, still strong accent, but I'm faster now. So while you stepped away from the painting, what do you see now? Like, what would you add now?
You know what? I stood away from it, but I didn't look at it while I was standing away. So let me get up for a second and take a look. You know what? I don't even have to. I can look at it in the mirror. So what I see when I look in the mirror is it's all on a slant, and I see this long thing that's on a slant. I have my shadow line and this edge of foam. It's too much of a harsh slant here. So what I'm going to need to do is create some connecting foam lines that come this direction, because I like the diagonal. I need to create something that says the water's coming. See, even just doing that, where I have a little bit of foam that comes out this way. I need that feeling that the water's coming this way. So we have this shadow cast that's going this way, and I have some foam going this way, but the water form is going this way. You see that? So
yeah.
I need a few lines coming this direction to tell us that the movement of the water is this way. Because if these are too harsh this direction, that's not going to tell the story of the movement. So we need both. We need this and we need this. And right now this is just too strong. So yeah, I need to break this edge and bring some foam lines this way so that it's very clear what this movement is, because the movement of water, this is all about form and movement, form and motion. And so the lines and the volume are both telling that story. They're going in different directions, and I have to have both going on for this to work. Hope that helps a little bit. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much. And Lana is saying she ended up talking English to Russians and vice versa. Yes, true story. I like finish interview and I start talking to my husband. He's American, and because I was talking on English so long, I go just okay, I'm done. I need to talk Russian. And like, that's all downhill from the end of the day. So. But it was very fun. Thank you so much for inviting us. I think we learned a lot. It was a full demo in an hour. Like,
Thank you.
How lucky we are. Thank you for doing that. And this video will be available on Red Rock Instagram stories for replay for 24 hours as is. And after that, Katya, my VP, will gonna do some magic to it, and it will be on our Instagram TV. It's I believe it's our 12th show or maybe 13th. So you can watch it on your Instagram TV later. And we have like quite a few artists who let us to visit their studio. Thank you, Jeanne, so much. Congratulations on your show again.
Thank you. It was a pleasure, Dasha. Thank you so much for inviting me. I appreciate it. It was great talking to you. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Let's wait a few minutes for like hearts and stuff, and we will say bye. Thank you.
Bye.
You rock. Amazing work. So you need to see that, because people need time to type, and you need to see that hearts and stuff. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you did great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank
you guys.
you.
There is a lot of hearts, thumbs ups.
I see that.
Smiley faces. Yes.
Wow.
You did great. Thank you so much.
So cool.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, it really was. I had a great time, and now I've got a painting that I can keep working on. It's not going to be. I've got a little ways to go, but I'll post it on my Instagram, of course, when it's done. So
looking forward to it. See you soon. I'll save this video, and bye. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Bye.